have you guys seen the Sky Sports interview with Kyle Walker after yesterday, where Kyle Walker, speaking about Michael Oliver, said he could have crumbled, but that shows his experience, that shows his character. Kyle Walker praises Michael Oliver's professionalism over Liverpool's penalty decision. I find this quite disgusting from Sky, in all honesty, and nobody will convince me that there isn't an agenda against Liverpool from Sky. And here's why. When the drop ball happened, we got absolute pelters from Sky. We had articles that had Mike Dean's face on it saying, monumental error for a drop ball. I seen a piece on Sky today, a video piece that was speaking about Liverpool's VAR situation, and the young reporter that they had doing the piece, I say young, probably 20s, spoke about the drop ball against Nottingham Forest, and his words were, Liverpool got a drop ball, kept possession, went up the other end of the field, got a corner and scored. That's not what happened though, my friend, is it? Liverpool didn't keep possession. The ball did go back to Forest. They just lost the ball again, and then we got the corner and scored. But there was no fume over the other drop ball. Like I keep saying, if Sky would have put these clickbaity type posts up there, what about the other one? Why is it only a monumental error because we were good enough to score from it? Would it not have been a monumental error when the other drop ball was given? Just because Forest weren't good enough to go and score. And here again we have a decision where, let's be honest, we were robbed of a penalty. Anybody who's ever played football, or with common sense, will say that was a stonewall penalty. But what do we get from Sky? Do we get the headlines, monumental error, cost Liverpool place at top of the league table? No. We get Kyle Walker being wheeled out. We get Kyle Walker talking about the bravery of Michael Oliver. Do me a favour. There is clearly an agenda to undermine Liverpool. It's pathetic and it needs to stop. Where's the Liverpool side of this interview? Why didn't they get one of our players to ask them their opinion on the penalty incident? It's a joke, honestly. It's a joke. And not only that, not only are they doing this with him, they've never really discussed the charges, at least not on a regular basis. It's quite simply pathetic. And I've lost a lot of respect for Sky Sports. Now, like I said, I do distinguish their pundits and their journalists. Their journalists, Kaveh Solakal, Melissa Reddy, Darmay Sheth, I hold in high esteem. But their pundits and the way that they've covered this whole situation, well, one of two things has clearly happened. Either they don't have the authority to discuss it, in which case you'd have to ask, why is that? Or they haven't got the backbone to discuss it. Either way, not a good look for such a powerful institution, in my opinion. I'm at a point now where I'm done. I'm done with all of Sky's nonsense, because it is just that, nonsense. Wheeling out Dermot Gallagher and Mike Dean to talk about these things. Imagine holding Mike Dean as an example of integrity for refereeing. The man who's already told us he didn't want to send his mate to a monitor. The man who's already said he didn't do his job in a crunch moment. The man who bottled it because he didn't want to get his mate in trouble. I'm supposed to be lectured to about the laws of the game by him, who's already admitted he failed in his own duties. Dermot Gallagher, I feel, is a lot more professional in how he presents himself. And while I might not always agree with Dermot Gallagher's takes, I think he's a far better pundit for referees than Mike Dean, who's just one of the lads. He's just poor banter. It's just awful. But again, we're being subjected to this, and why? Why is the narratives always being pushed around referees? Why do you get people on to sympathise with them? We all know referees are a disgrace. We all know that the officiating in the Premier League this season, from both an on-the-pitch and VAR perspective, has been subpar. And I'm not just talking about Liverpool. Ask West Ham fans how they feel about the penalty they didn't get yesterday, right at the death of the game. Ask Forest fans how they feel about a number of incidents. Ask Wolves fans. Ask United fans. Everybody is going to have their own reason why the PGMOL and VAR and referees have been poor this season. But do we see anything about it in the media? Do we see it really pushed? No. Why? I'll leave that up to you. We all know that was a penalty. And all the mental gymnast... Look, actually, do you know what? I think we need to change the tone of the conversation a bit. Never mind if it was a penalty or not. That's kind of irrelevant. Was it a foul or not? Was it an infringement or not? The penalty is the result of the foul. Just happens that it's inside the penalty area. So for me, yeah, it's a penalty. You can give this soft threshold, the bar has to be higher in the penalty area. All this stuff is just opinion. It's not worded. It's not law. It is just vibes from the refs again. These referees seem to have an incredible amount of leeway to interpret rules however suits what they want to do. And consistency of decision making is something that we've asked for over and over again. And look, I know people are going to say it wasn't a penalty. That's fine. But what about the 50 challenges that are going to come up between now and the end of the season where that will be given as a foul because it's the halfway line or at the corner flag, like Kloppo said. And also, Sadio Mane got sent off for a high foot on Ederson. People are going to say, Craig, that connected with his head. Well, yeah, it did. But Ederson also came flying in out of nowhere, head first towards Mane, who had his boot raised. Red card for Mane and a foul. No difference here. But the thing that's really wound me up over the last 2 days is this. The amount of professional media outlets that I have seen say that Doku got the touch on the ball first is wrong. It is absolutely, categorically incorrect. Go back and look at it. The first touch on that ball comes from Alexis McAllister's chest. The ball then goes onto Doku's shin and goes up into the air. So the whole premise of what they're talking about is wrong. It's nonsense. It was a foul. All the mental gymnastics in the world aren't going to change what any real football person knows. That's a foul. It's clear as day. We were shafted again. The Fraseman Network said, it's been a while since I played at any level, but last I was aware a Spartan kick to the chest is frowned upon. Yeah, it is, because it's against the rules. What really happened, in my opinion, there is one of two things. Atwell, on VAR, either was too scared to ask Michael Oliver to come over to the monitor, because remember, there have been reports that Michael Oliver gets a little bit pissed off if he's asked to review his decision. Or the second part, they didn't want to have such a big moment, maybe steer the title race by giving the decision. But you've done the exact same thing by not giving it. Only you've benefited the side that, let's be honest, are being investigated for 115 charges and yet seemingly the media's favourite. Why? These are all questions I think we deserve answers to as football fans. To see Jamie Carragher again trying to justify his thoughts on Twitter by going in on Joel Rabinowitz, a really good Liverpool fan journalist, and Carragher's calling him a beaut and saying give it up. Why? Because you don't like what he's saying, Cara? You know and I know that's a penalty every day of the week, Cara. Let's be honest about it. If you don't want to be biased to show Liverpool favouritism, understandable, but you need to be real. That was a penalty. That was a foul. You know it. I know it. The football world knows it. And all the backtracking and arse-licking of the pundits on Sky needs to stop. Because you're not giving fans what you're paid to do, which is professional insight on the game. That's a foul. Pundits say, oh, he didn't mean it. It's not a foul. Well, okay, Jones didn't mean to go into Spurs player's ankle, but that's a red card. City need to be investigated, said Aaron, for their work with refs. Now, I can't stand over the last part of what Aaron said, but the first part of what Aaron said is correct. And do you know what else, Aaron? They'd no problem sending the referee to the monitor for the Jones incident or the McAllister incident. But for the Odegaard handball, no, didn't send the ref to the monitor. For the penalty yesterday, no, didn't send the ref to the monitor. When they did actually have VAR involved at Spurs, guess what happened there? We got shafted again. I know people love to be always the victims and always point the finger at us, blah, blah, blah. But you don't have to be a conspiracy theorist to look at the moments in big games this season. Games involving the title race, top of the league. And you can see that we've been shafted against City, we've been shafted against Spurs, we've been shafted against Arsenal. Don't have to be a rocket scientist for that.